tonight we're going to be continuing on with Tears of the Kingdom. And I was just about to fuse something to weapon, or try to. We'll see if it's even fusible. Let's try. So it is. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Formidable weapon. We'll try that out later on. But what did we come here for? We had to talk to somebody. Spotting Spot. Spot ran away. Okay. So we need to take out a horse, go spot Spot. I like how every time I come back here, though, there's different people who have managed to filter in. I don't think this Goron was here before. I think maybe I have to do a few of these side quests. We'll get back on the main line. That's annoying. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to share the stream just a couple places. Share to group. Actually, I'll just share one place. Oh yeah, that bistro. So we'll get into that when we get into the Goron's quest line. What that bistro is all about, and what's wrong with the Gorons. Alright, but for now we're going to stable over here, and we're going to get out a horse. Just about safe. Just gonna tell me where it is. Unfortunately. Interesting once I get to be able to read these inscriptions. Can I get horses from him? Hey, got a new reward. Take a horse out. Who do we want? I think that's my speediest horse. So yeah, let's go with Epona. Down a little reward. Such awkward pathing to get these apples. Alright, so let's see what's going on with me. We went to a sunflower field today. It's part of the hiking club that I started for my workplace. It was really nice, actually. It was very hot, though. That fall sun feels really intense for some reason. But nonetheless, it was a good time. It got me thinking about this idea that I've had for a long time for a botanical gardens within the limits of Minneapolis or St. Paul. You see nothing to build. Nope. So anyway, I had this idea for a while. I was like, well, it would be really nice. One thing that the Twin Cities is lacking is a true botanical gardens. We have Zoo, which has a really great greenhouse. All kinds of cool stuff to see that. Horse's tails flapping the I don't know why that made me laugh so much. And I keep getting distracted. Sorry. Anyway, so we have this Zoo with a conservatory, which is really nice. A lot of great botanical wonders in there, rarities, so forth. But now let's see if that's it. Not keyed onto something else though. That must not be the one. Nah. Must not be the one we're looking for. So anyway, beige dappled horse. Alright. Guess that's not it. Botanical garden. So it would be a little bit different. It would be a place that, I guess first and foremost, you would showcase the vast array of fauna that can grow, or wait, fauna's animals, flora, excuse me, vast array of flora that you can grow in Minnesota. That's just something that there's no real exemplar of. There's also something run by the U of M, the Arboretum, which has some themed gardens and some research attached to it somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But for one thing, it's not within Minneapolis or St. Paul proper, so it's pretty inaccessible to a lot of people. It also costs money for at least parts of it, I think. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought you at least pay for parking or something. Anyway, it's inaccessible in that there's no bus that I know of that goes out there. So if you don't have a car, you're SOL on that front. So there's that. But also it's just not, its purpose is not to be a botanical garden. It's supposed to showcase the different things you can do with plants on different themes. The best example I've ever seen in person was in Hamilton, New Zealand, where I did study abroad for a semester. And they would have these theme gardens from around the world. That was their main draw. So they had an Indian themed garden, and there was apparently a trend at one point to have, it's called like a Persian carpet garden. So it was this garden that was arranged into 4 quadrants, and you would time you would plant flowers that were about the same size and all bloomed around the same time, and you do it in such a pattern that it would look like a floating Persian rug when it, flapped in the breeze, when the flowers waved in the breeze. Very beautiful. But they also had like an Italian garden with like fountains and of course grapevines, and they had a Chinese garden with beautiful bamboo. That is one thing I wish we could grow in Minnesota, is bamboo, because it's really, really a pretty addition, and useful too. Very good at producing oxygen, apparently. But again, I digress. So they had all these different themes, and that was really nice. It was something that I probably visited in the city more than any other single place. And it was the first place I learned about permaculture too, because they had a permaculture garden. A sustainable backyard, right? And that was really cool. I learned, rudimentary permaculture concepts, principles. They had they raised chickens there. They had a worm composter. They had all these things. I volunteered with them a couple of times, and it was pretty great. Good introduction. And that's kind of the power that botanical gardens can give. Not only that it inspires ideas through landscaping concepts, but it also can inspire you to think about how we treat the earth and how we are co-creators in our environment, or could be, rather than just impactors of our environment. I'm not seeing any other pockets of horses here, by the way. So I think that would be really cool for the Twin Cities. And we have so many golf courses that take an inordinate amount of water, although we're still a state that is incredibly blessed with our rainfall. A very green state in that regard, or at least in the Twin Cities. We're kind of at the nexus of 3 biomes. But still, golf courses take a lot of water. They require a lot of pesticide and herbicide and fertilizer. They're huge energy sucks and resource sucks and polluters. And it's all for one thing that is mostly enjoyed by rich people. In fact, country clubs were created to be exclusive, only to let in the right people. It's basically gatekeeping the owner class. You have to meet the right people in order to say if you want to start a business, get a loan, or you want to do anything that requires knowing the right people. Well, that's the place you meet them, is the country club. So it has that whole history too. And they take up a lot of land. I would be interested to know how many acres in total, just in the cities, you know, Minneapolis and St. Paul proper, are taken up by golf courses. It's got to be hundreds of acres of prime real estate that could be going to so much better things. One of those things could be a botanical garden. And so those sunflowers today inspired me, because I'm like, it'd be really cool if you had different mazes that you'd put out, grow every year. So, you know, traditional one in Minnesota and a lot of the Midwest, I'm sure, is the corn maze, which is fine. Corn's fine. It's just not all that interesting to look at. Not seeing any beige dappled. Looks more blue to me. Unless that one might be. Oh, it's hard to tell. I assume it's going to come up. Golden horse. No. Oh great, here comes a blood moon. Fun. Well, I'm not in an area where I've defeated much lately, so not too much of a chance. Nothing's coming back to life in the near vicinity. But anyway, getting back to the botanical gardens. So you're gonna have, instead of just the corn maze, so like I said, it's kind of, it's been done. It's not really that interesting to look at. It's more usually the novelty of, you know, look what this looks like from the air. Oh, and it makes a cool picture. My wife and I used to go to Seaver's Fall Festival, for example. And they would do different themes. So, like, you know, one year it would be a picture of like a flying saucer abducting a cow, or, you know, something to that effect. But that was the main attraction to it. Like, there wasn't much in there to look at once you got in the maze. It was just wandering around dirty roads and seeing rows and rows of corn. It's like, wow, this is an experience, I guess. I'm gonna let this blood moon happen before I defeat him. I don't really want to fight him twice. Or maybe not. That's fine. Oh, fun. It's letting me skip for once. Jeez. Hadn't been letting me skip lately. But anyway, so instead of a corn maze, well, not a sunflower maze. It's so much prettier. The sunflowers come in such a wider variety, although, to be fair, corn comes in a wider variety than the standard sweet corn that they use too. But sunflowers especially come in a wide variety of colors, shapes, sizes. There's even, like, you know, cousins of sunflowers, like sunchokes that are perennial, and Maximilian sunflower, which is perennial, and they both have unique styles. There's different Minnesota wildflowers that they're called, like early sunflower or woodland sunflower. We have our native annual sunflower. There's so many things besides just corn that you could be doing. with these mazes. And you can grow it in a different pattern each year, just like they do at corn mazes. But that's just one thing that you could do. And then you can have a different one for winter time. It could be like an evergreen hedge maze. Right? Or you could have at the center of the maze, you could have set up like a little hot chocolate stand to reward you for getting halfway through the maze or whatever it is. In springtime, it could be a lilac hedge maze. Not be the main thing that constitutes the hedges, but then also incorporate other flowering, spring flowering trees and bushes and stuff like that. There's just so much more that could be done with these things than is currently done. And it would be a huge draw. Really put the Twin Cities on the map. Perhaps these exist in other cities, but I haven't seen that either. And, you know, summertime it could be like a berry maze or something like that. You could get the you know, various berries that flower at different times. It could be a rose maze. So many different things you can do. You could have these you could divide the botanical gardens into 4 quadrants and just have each one be a different season of emphasis. So in the springtime one, aside from the maze, you could have, you know, the pollinator garden with all of the spring, just bountiful flowering things. Specimens of all the different rhododendron that flower. Specimens of all the different apple trees, especially since the U of M is such a prolific producer of new varieties of apples. You wait for them to showcase their work as well. And you could have a scent garden. There'd always be something in bloom that smells really interesting. That could be a particular draw for people that can't experience the garden with their eyesight as well. There's so many things that could be done. You could set up like a Van Gogh garden, where you look one direction, it's a field of sunflowers. You look another direction, it's our version of olive trees, which they call. There's a few. There's the autumn olive and the Russian olive, and they both look a lot like Middle Eastern olive trees. I don't know if they're actually related. Doesn't matter though, because it would be for the effect of it. And, you know, could be stuff like that. So many things that you could do. Have a garden that's devoted to all the biggest specimens of plants that there are. You know, there's an actual redwood tree that can be grown in Minnesota called the Dawn redwood. And of course, it's not going to get as big as your coastal redwoods. It's not quite the same species. I think it's actually a deciduous redwood, if I'm not mistaken. So kind of like, say, a bald cypress. It loses its foliage. I don't need a wooden stick. That's fine. Probably a guy that I've run into several times.
Hey.
Cave near here, huh? But I mean, there's just, you could have a food forest garden. You could showcase all the different fruits and nuts and vegetables, you know, perennial vegetables like asparagus that you can grow in Minnesota, and the ways that they can interact with one another to increase the overall yield. So many different things you could do with the acreage of a single golf course. And it would be it would be a benefit to all the surrounding areas. You know, anyone that grows a garden or has a fruit tree would get better pollination. because it would support pollinators so well. It would be a great tourist draw to the cities, as well as a place that locals would celebrate as well. So many things. Hey James, how is it going? How are you on this Appalachian evening? Are the leaves turning where you're at yet? They've started turning where I am here. But yeah, so I was talking to James about my idea for having a botanical garden, just taking one of the Minneapolis or St. Paul golf courses that currently serve a single purpose and take up a lot of land and resources to the delight of very few, who, like, really, if you took away one golf course, it's not as though they don't still have a dozen others, at least, in and around the cities to go to that would be equally as good. Fishing earlier, drinking tomato Modelo. So is that like a Bloody Mary Modelo mix? Is that what you're going for? There's a bunch of the white bokoblins. I don't know if I want to mess with a lot of them right now. Have not found this. I've been searching for a beige dappled horse. I probably should have just taken a picture of the one that could have been it, just in case, even though nothing special popped up on my camera. But I did not do that. But yeah, James, I was talking about the idea of converting a golf course into a botanical garden. I was thinking about it again today because I visited a sunflower field, and I'm like, why don't people do sunflower mazes more often? Why is it always corn? Boring corn. Instead of beautiful sunflowers that come in so many shades and different colors and sizes, and I was like, well, that'd be a really great thing for a botanical garden to do, is have hedge mazes, one for each season. Have fall be a sunflower maze. But then, like, Modelo Chelada. I don't know what Modelo Chelada is. Is that a specific style of Modelo? I guess I'm not familiar with all the different Modelo varieties. So I think this is one I saw before. We're going to take a picture of that one just in case that's it. That could be a beige dappled, right? We'll replace. All my dudes falling behind me. I don't want your picture taken out. Anyway. So that's my basic idea. I think it would be great. It would really put Twin Cities on the map as a more cosmopolitan place. And like, it'd just be a single golf course. That'd be all that would be sacrificed. Refreshing flavors of tomato, salt, and lime. That sounds delicious, I gotta tell ya. That sounds like a beer Bloody Mary to me. Bloody beer. I had a friend who loved Bloody Jamesons. He mixed Jameson whiskey with Bloody Mary mix. He thought that was quite tasty. I think tomato's an underused flavor in beverages. I think V8 has cornered the market on that idea for too long. There needs to be other uses. This is quite the structure here, isn't it? The thing is, I don't really need anything from them. Hey, no problem, James. Thanks for the follow, Rethink. How's it going tonight? I know you can't answer yet because I have all new followers on a chat cooldown. Just to keep this community away from trolls. It's to keep out the trolls. And it's been largely effective. I've had very few trolls in the years that I have since I instituted that policy. So it might be annoying now. But also, you know, if you're gonna take the time to be a part of this community, I imagine it's gonna make me. They both look like dappled beige horses. I guess this is more of a dappled beige horse. Or is that more of a dappled beige? I guess that's kind of a dappled beige too. I don't know. Let's replace it. Let's see if that's even better. Example. Maybe we'll go quickly back, warp back, and see if that is what he's looking for. Yeah, because that's a ways out. Alright, well, we'll get a little bit closer to a shrine, and then we'll do that, just to make the back and forth a little easier. Ah, oh, that looks really good. Thanks for sending me that, James. You know, I'm going to have to try that sometime. I'm pretty sure I've had Modelo at some time. You know, forgive me if this is way outside the ballpark. But is Modelo a lot like Corona in its flavor? Basically like a golden draft beer. Yeah, I saw it, James. Thank you so much. That looks great. I will try that sometime if I can find it. It sounds delicious. Somehow we always end up over by this particular Skyview Tower. I don't know why that is. It's the one that's somehow inside the Bokoblin camp. You love Modelo? So you know, is it anything like Corona? That's like a big can of lime. Interesting. That's cool. So apparently every time I liberate a place, the peoples there send some defenders to look out landing. Better somehow? I believe it. I don't have any particular affinity for Corona, which is better than most domestic beers that are nationwide. Must be a meek horse. I can't imagine he's run off too far. It's beautiful. Just one look at his silky, gentle beige coat, and you know it was him. He recognizes unique. Oh, it's gray dappling. Okay. So, beige horse, gray dappling. Someplace with a nice view, taking in the sights. High places? I'm gonna find him in some high place? So what else is new with you, James? How are things in West Virginia this time of year? Also has a flavor pack variety, weird flavors like pineapple. Oh, I would try that for sure. Yeah, sounds good. Maybe I'll head out towards those dueling peaks since you mentioned up high, taking in the sights, but also not too far. Like, can't imagine he got too far, but he's probably taking in the sights in someplace up high. It's like the flattest part of Hyrule. Probably more likely over here, huh? But, well, I guess we're closer to this spot area, in this area anyway. There's Satori Mountain. Upland Lindor. Mount Rome. Well, that sounds intriguing. Let's try Mount Rome. Where are my other pins? I don't remember what this pin is for. Let's get rid of it. Aw, man. Wow. Almost caught a bass. That'd be amazing. I don't think I've ever had bass. I love catfish, so that is one of my absolute favorite fishes. to eat. I like just the tiny bit of sweetness to it, and how it's a very tender meat. Very flavorful though. And not super strong on the fishiness. So for people that are turned off by that, also good in that respect. Never eaten bluegill though. I think that's probably the only one of the few types of fish I've caught. I've probably caught a bluegill. I have no idea what else. I am not a huge fisherman. It's a fine sport. It's just one of those things. Only so many things you can devote your time and attention to. Fishing just never was it for me. Had a period in high school where a lot of friends were into it, so I tried to also, but I didn't know what I was doing. Very few other people in my family knew anything about fishing, so just never quite stuck. But it's a fine sport. I love eating fish, for sure. Seafood is my favorite. I'm gonna cross this bridge here. Now let's cross. You know what? Here is a higher place where you can be taking in the sights. What is coming flying out? Just a piece of the skyfall. Ooh, death roll. Man, that sounds dangerous even. How were you fishing, you might have asked too? Were you doing like the noodling where you find a catfish hole and just stick your hand in and hope that it works out? Or are you doing more traditional style? Well, we're up high. There's some good sights. I see no horse. So we're moving on. A Addison that we have missed. Alright. Let's check it out. Ooh, getting close to that time. I got about 20 minutes left. What this one looks like. Might be... No, of course it wouldn't be that easy, would it? Wouldn't be that easy. I'll have to use some more stuff. Big hook, nasty huge worm, and muddy river. Sounds pretty nice. Sorry there, Epona. Well, hello. What's up?
So thanks for waiting on me.
To get the party started? Yeah, I've just been chatting with James.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, wow.
Oh, sorry.
The lovely Amanda was going to be on the show, but I guess she's decided that she's too cool now. She also said she'd be right back. That's still gonna tip, isn't it? How annoying. How annoying. So noodling for catfish that's a more new school approach then. If I'm getting you right. Interesting. I think with one more beam we oughta be good. If so, that's interesting. Like usually technology goes the other way. It's more complex. Old school techniques fall out of fashion. Oh. Alright. Always a question of if there's a good... No, that's not a good anchor point at all. No! I hate it when it switches at the last second. Pepperoni roll in one hand and a nasty worm in the other. That sounds delightful, James. Amanda has left the room temporarily. Just so you know. Don't you be disappointed. She doesn't respond. Oh my goodness. Why is this thing? It's such a pain. This should not be this difficult of a construction. Oh man, that is but ugly. But I think it's going to do the job. I wonder what happens when we do the final one. I get something for getting all the Addisons.
Don't run your mouth.
Yeah, James wanted to tell you about his fishing adventure.
James went fishing?
Yeah.
Or he bought pet fish?
No. He said he was fishing in the muddy river today. Pepperoni roll in one hand and a nasty worm in the other.
Wow.
Which I'm guessing is not a euphemism, although it certainly could be. I don't want to judge how anyone fishes.
Yeah. That's not nice. That's not what we're about.
No, it's not very demure. Amanda is sick of the TikTok trend already.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, then why are you mad every time I do it?
Because it's kind of out of context.
Of course it is. It makes it funny.
Right. She will read it.
Yeah, I said you were out of the room, so he couldn't see her. You couldn't see his last comment.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah. You want to tell the folks what you've been up to lately?
I think I already shared it. I started some new routines for my life. But then, actually, no, they're kind of connected. So let's just talk about it all. Because I feel like it. I've been getting up at 5 in the morning and exercising and like trying to set myself up for a successful day. And I find that it's been really regulating for me personally. And I know this doesn't work for everybody. I'm just saying, in my experience and what I have gained from this experience, my mood is better. I generally tend to stay more well regulated throughout the day. However, I'm a garbage monster and I need to have a perpetual stream of snacks. Like anytime there's downtime, there needs to be a snack. It's a little out of control.
Your metabolism has definitely gone up as a result. Which is a good sign though, right?
Yes. But
'Cause it means it was not where it was supposed to be before.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I started some medication for the thyroid. Apparently my thyroid is very slow. Like, almost dead. So it needed some help. I have also started a new class called Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. And
Thanks, James. I look forward to seeing that catfish pic.
I'll have to ask Zach to show it to me. And I've been really excited and curious about cognitive behavior therapy. I took dialectical behavioral therapy last semester and it was fine. It just didn't really resonate with me very well. But in cognitive behavioral therapy, it's like your the professor says this a lot. The hands guide the mind and the heart. Or like the body controls, right? And there's been a lot of like talk out before this class about like somatic experiences and like your trauma stores in your body and it shows up for you in different ways. And sometimes those ways are helpful and in other ways they are problematic, and just trying to decipher, growing and learning how to decipher these things for yourself. Like think like scenario, right? Like, so the other day the tire light came on. We had a huge fluctuation in temperature. It was like a 30-degree drop. And the tire light came on. In my previous experience, that usually means that there's a nail or a screw or something else is wrong with the tire. Need to go to the shop, blah, blah, blah. It just ends up being more expensive and costly and problematic than just adding air to the tires. So I immediately panic. However, I try to pull it together, and Zach reminds me, like, hey, we have an air pump in the trunk, and we have tire gauge, and sure enough, it was just because of that fluctuation in temperature. And this, like, therapeutic intervention is supposed to be really good for, like, people with gambling addictions and severe depression. Even though they say DBT is also really good for depression, it's also supposed to be very good for insomnia. Because you're like creating new habits and new routines to like try to stop some of those thoughts. Because some of them, there's a concept of automatic thoughts, and it's just something happens and you always have the same thought about it, even though it may not be necessary, like the tire light coming on. Didn't mean that there was a huge problem. It just meant there was a change in temperature. But my brain, because of my past experience, says, ah, fuck. And catastrophize. It's just thinking of those, trying to think about things in a different way. And I feel like those micro shifts in my focus and how I react to things, and how I process things has been really beneficial for me. And I hope that I can learn enough about it to help others, and maybe that same thing will benefit them.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I know you've been liking this class a lot more than your dialectical behavioral therapy.
Well, the teacher shows up
Yeah.
and gives feedback.
It's amazing how much a different professor can affect how good a class is.
But it's like, DBT is just about like talking yourself out of something. As where I feel like cognitive, like you are physically doing something, you are proactively making a movement to make a change. You know what I mean? It's like going on nature walks can increase your dopamine, and your dopamine makes you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. So like just that kind of spitballing.
Yeah, that's cool. So what sorts of conditions are CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, not especially effective on?
They have been saying that it's not good for trauma. But then, on the other hand, I kind of want to challenge that a little bit, because, like, when you have trauma, like, it's not going to happen the same again, you know? It's possible, but it's not likely. Like, if you were physically abused as a child, you become hypervigilant. And sometimes that hypervigilance is exhausting and you don't really need it all the time. But in other situations, like say when you're traveling or you're vulnerable and you're noticing things around you, the hypervigilance actually is helpful.
So Jam says, sometimes people ask me what I think. I usually say, well, I try not to, unless I have to, because I know that people will disagree with my thoughts. Well, disagreement can be okay.
But that's it. A lot of people don't know how to have a respectful disagreement.
That is true.
And they just take it as a personal affront when it literally has nothing to do with you, and it's about the other person's feelings and thoughts. That's another thing I think we don't consider. It's like all this movement is moving me towards these like micro shifts in my focus and my feelings, and like we work with a group of people and they all hung out on Friday and didn't invite us, and normally that would really, it bothered me a little bit, but then I was like, you know what, they're like 20 years younger and have known each other for years, and I'm a new person to this circle. Okay, should I have not said that? Either way, it caused me to shift my own focus and thinking and just turn things back to what was it really?
Ugh. Around a lot of Trump supporters. That's
Yeah.
gotta be really obnoxious. Are they still as hardcore after that terrible debate performance now, or have you seen some signs quietly disappear from people's yards? Because he was pretty awful.
Ah.
Like, I'm sure James doesn't feel great about saying that he's not a Trump supporter in the area that he lives in.
Yeah, it's probably not an easy position to have. I'm not going with it. I think he's mentioned that before.
I have such a difficult time getting my brain around that though, because when I think about him and his actions and like all the things that he stands for, it's just like this cesspool of cruelty and all the things that he says he's not for, but then he does himself, and it's just
They suck just as bad, huh? Oh, that's unfortunate. Haven't learned anything. So what else is on your mind? How did you like the sunflower field today?
that was pretty.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Got too hot too fast.
That
That was
is
surprising.
true.
That also doesn't. This is gonna sound incredibly dumb. I'm allergic to the sun. So I get this like very bizarre, intense rash on my face. Even if I'm sunscreened, even if I have a hat on, I get it when we ride in the car. Like, for being outside. But there's something about when it's extra hot out, just like exacerbates the symptom. It's very icky.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about riding in the car.
Probably like the glass and the dashboard is dark, so
Maybe,
it absorbs the
maybe
heat.
intensifies it somehow for you.
Sunflower fields are pretty. It was nice. I wish they would have had more colors and more types of sunflowers. That would have been nice.
You want to poop when they're flower bud. Unfortunately, that would end up only being fertilizer, and they'd have even more beautiful flowers. So, maybe if that's a little consolation to not do it.
Plus, it would just be fertilizer. You should, like, chop all their flowers off or down. But then it's mean to the bees.
Yeah, there's no winning.
At least they have enough heart to, like, do something nice for nature. I don't know. They just don't care about other people so much.
What did I say? Is this a gray horse?
That's a dappled horse.
Yeah.
This
So I'm,
is spotted
okay.
by. Oh,
Let me show you.
sorry. I didn't realize it was so upsetting.
Well, no, because, like, we're looking for this guy's horse.
Does it have a tracker?
Told you his beige. No, this is, like, medieval technology, kind of, sort of, with also robots. But, no tracker. He's looking for a beige dappled horse. So it's a beige horse with dappled gray spots.
Okay. Where's the picture of the horse?
He doesn't have a freaking picture of the horse. That's the problem.
So that horse you're riding on, that's got a dapple.
But it's not a
butt.
beige horse with dappled
No,
gray
it's a
spots.
black horse with a dappled
So
butt.
you would call that gray, not or black, not gray.
Well, okay. It's very sunny wherever you are in this game, you can tell, because you're casting a shadow.
Yep.
So odds are that horse is black that you're on. But you can run it by him, I guess. I don't know. It's 9 o'clock though. I gotta go
All right.
be an adult.
Blaring Trump speeches on the side of the house and letting the dogs bark at you for 12 hours straight? Oh
Cute.
my goodness. But you work at HVAC. That's cool. Super important skill to have.
But pays
Pays decent, right? Compared to,
other things, like teaching,
yeah, like what we do teaching.
like education.
I don't know if you've ever mentioned that before, James. I don't recall.
Every time people say like, God bless you for being a teacher, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, if only blessings paid my rent.
Not taken seriously.
you
I'm not
know.
an educated individual. I'm just a moron.
At the same time, that people are trying to be nice. Thank you for thank you for your service. So on and so forth. But like, also it'd be nice if they would vote for like passing their school bond referendums. That'd be super cool. Stuff like that, you know.
Alright, folks. I'm gonna get ready for bed. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday evening. And remember, lock your pets up.
Oh, don't. Ugh.
Sorry. Come on.
Republicans are so gross.
Remember, lock your pets up.
Yeah.
There's somebody gonna come eat
Otherwise,
them.
JD Vance gonna come eat him.
Yeah. And that means girls, you better hide your makeup bags because he's probably gonna steal your eyeliner too.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Oh my god. This rug, why is it like this?
Cause it keeps bunching up, you know. I
Well,
don't know what you want me to do about it.
I'm done tripping over
I
it.
don't know what you want me to do about it.
Fix it
How do I fix it?
with your hands. You move it so it's not up against the bed.
Fine. Just worked in retail for years. Big box like Walmart. Yeah, it's got to be better. I've worked Target before. That job sucked. Sucked big time. Started out as a cart guy, moved up to cashier. Still sucked. Gentle beige coat. See, I don't think this is it. Gray, it's got the gray dappling, but it's not a beige coat. Nah. Just what ridiculousness. They really are just like QAnon did like psychological damage to the Republicans because now they're just actively promoting conspiracy theories that have no one's gonna believe that. You look like such an idiot for fear-mongering. And, I mean, you could say, well, it's for the larger purpose of just ginning up xenophobia, but there's plenty, like, even if that was their true aim was to be xenophobic, I'm sure there's more, common ways to be xenophobic. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. That's the point. Wow, that hit me pretty hard. I just don't get the state of the Republican Party right now. Like, how does anybody take them seriously? Oh, he failed miserably during the debate. That is for certain. Man, all these crap bows, jeez. It seems strange that I haven't been in this cave yet. It's so close to Lookout Landing. Must have just gone the other way. Something, I don't even know. Yeah, there's the bubble frog to prove it. Love those hearty troubles. just have not been to this hill at all, huh? Where did that little flower go? There it is. Right, I'll switch. Do I have any shock absorbent stuff yet? Let's see how truly shock absorbent it is. Still hurt a lot, I have to say. So not shock proof. It's not my bow that's doing it. What is it? It's not. It wouldn't be my shield either. Is it my weapon? How's my weapon? I don't even know. No, it's not what I was trying to do. I'll be wrapping it up pretty soon here. I have no idea where this horse is. It's just too vague yet again. That's the thing that I find frustrating about this, and well, I mean, it tends to happen in a lot of Legend of Zelda games where clues are just vague enough that, or sometimes anyway, sometimes the clues are just vague enough that most people are not going to get it. So what else do we got in terms of close by views? Be relatively surprised the horse was this close to the castle, but I've tried a bunch of other places. So far, nothing. Definitely closer in by the castle are not areas that I've explored all that much. Hill over there. So heavily implied there was up high. What was that? Was that gloom hands? Indeed it is. Well known already, huh? What? Oh, okay. Legend of Zeppelin. I just saw a T-shirt that said Legend of Zeppelin, and it was classic Zeppelin logos with like Legend of Zelda stuff replaced. Thought about getting it, but you know, much as I like Zeppelin, I am not so big of a fan that I feel like I need a T-shirt that combines the two. This turned out to be more of a filler episode. I don't think we did finish some quests. That's not entirely true. But it's filler. But we didn't finish the one quest that we set out to do. Well, I'll just have to do next time. Yeah, I know you're already asleep, Amanda. Yeah, I thought you were playing, so
I know. Usually
thanks for letting me know. Hmm? What's, oh wow. Yeah, Zeppelin's pretty great. Don't get me wrong. And I enjoyed singing it for that one karaoke night. It's something I would like to do again, because it was a lot of fun. I remember, I believe you requested the Led Zeppelin, and I did my best despite not knowing the lyrics all that well. That was a lot of fun. Alright, I should wrap this up though. Let's get to the top of this hill and we'll call it a night. Alright, so that's where we're going to leave it tonight. Thanks for joining. Things are getting pretty busy with grad school, so this may be the last Tears of the Kingdom stream I do for a while. I still plan on keeping up the Tuesday streams with Dan, but might be going down to once a week for the foreseeable future, just to let you know. But I will pick this up again eventually. So.
In December, I'm sure you'll pick it back up.
Yeah, for sure. By December.
This is a hard semester.
It's a hard semester. Research is a tough one. A lot of requirements. So appreciate you joining us. Thanks, James, as always, for stopping by. I always appreciate it. Yeah, that would be fun to do with Rob and Trish again. It's been a while since I've talked with them, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to do it again. Alright, well, that's going to do it then. And have a great rest of your evening. And I hope the week goes well for all of you. Bye.